In theaters now from director J.T. Mollner is the twisty, turny, serial killer, murder thriller, Strange Darling. Now, I went into this movie knowing nothing about it. I had gone to my local AMC a few weeks earlier, and the guy selling me the popcorn asked me what I saw, and I told him, and we were talking about movies a little bit, and he says, I heard Strange Darling is really good. I want to see Strange Darling. That's all I knew about it. So I went in totally blind, which is my favorite way to see a movie if I can, and didn't totally work for me. I admire what it did, but at the same time, it didn't totally work for me. So this film stars Willa Fitzgerald as the lady and Kyle Gallner as the demon, and it features some pretty familiar faces at some points. We have Ed Begley Jr. and Barbara Hershey show up, and apparently this film was, I'm looking at the IMDb, I didn't know this while I was watching it. We have voiceover work by Jason Patric and Giovanni Ribisi, who Giovanni Ribisi was one of the producers on this film. So the film goes a little something like this. Now, I'm not going to give away what the twists are in this movie, because I think everything is better as a surprise. And I would say to you, viewer, if you could manage to go... See, now I did see the trailer for this, and the trailer really didn't give anything away. Although when I watched the trailer, I kind of figured out what the deal with the movie was, but better if you don't know this at all. So the basic premise here is the film opens with a girl in a old Pinto or a Pacer, I think it was a red Pinto, 70s car, and she's flying down a rural stretch of road, fleeing from a guy with a gun who's trying to kill her. That's the basic setup of the film. Now, what the film does is it tells its story non-linearly. So up front, it says, this is based on actual accounts. It lifts a couple moments from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The one is the opening crawl, where Jason Patric, as the voiceover narrator, says, these are taken from police records, or there was a crime spree in this area of serial killings, and this is based on actual fact and all this stuff, which is a hoo-ha, I believe. And then it says on screen, this is a film in 6 parts, and then it opens up with like part 5, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be one of these non-linear things. Is there a reason this is a non-linear thing, or is this just done who knows why? Like Tarantino started, if he didn't start it, he popularized the whole non-linear thing, and after a while so many movies did it, and I was just like, is this necessary? I know Memento did it backwards, which was kind of interesting, and I always wonder, would this movie still work if it was told in a linear fashion? The answer with Strange Darling is yes, it would absolutely work in a linear fashion, but this is being told non-linearly to give you more surprises. So a chapter or 2 passes before you really see what the deal is with this movie, and then it keeps going back and forth. But once you see what the deal is, the jumping back and forth is more like, I guess. It's a way for the movie to be more suspenseful and pull the rug out from under you in a way that it wouldn't have done, or that it would have done very early in the film if it was told linearly, but it wouldn't have done if it wasn't told that way, if that makes any sense. So I didn't love the fact that it jumped around. I don't have a problem with that style. It's just like so many years down the road from Tarantino doing it, I just tell it normally. I feel like that with so many things. It's like found footage, blah, blah, blah. Just do it normally. Just make a normal movie. Just make a normal good movie. I didn't love this movie. It was well made enough. There's gore in it. There's Gru in it. There's extreme content in it. It's got sex, it's got drugs, it's got violence. And a lot of it, I was just kind of like, okay, well, do you have anything else other than that? Okay, great. Cocaine, great. Okay, doing cocaine, wonderful. Thrilling, exciting, edgy, if you will. And then it's just like, okay, swearing a lot, great. Okay, sex stuff, okay, great. Is there a good story in here anywhere? And the answer is, if you told this linearly, there isn't much of a story to this. Again, I thought the performances were good in this. I didn't think it was badly made at all. It wasn't for me. It didn't hook me. I know there are some people who really like this or will really like this, but I found it a little bit tedious for myself in the theater watching it. And that was going with almost no preconceived notions. I didn't even really remember the trailer, because this is one of those deals where it's a smaller movie and the trailer, if at all, hardly ever plays. So this hits theaters and almost nobody knows what this is. That's good in terms of not having the movie given away for you, but it's not good in terms of people actually wanting to see it or knowing it even exists. So that's not the movie's fault. That's theaters and studios and marketing and whatever. So anyway, Strange Darling. Who is this for? This is for people who like true crime, even though it's not true, or who like serial killer movies, or revenge movies or survival movies or stuff like that. It's very R-rated. It's a small indie film, so it's probably not going to be in theaters long. Might even be out by the time you see this, but it will ultimately lead its life, as all films do, on streaming and hopefully physical media. And see what you think. So you might really like it. If I'm a little jaded about some things, but in theaters now, Strange Darling.